Okay, in this video we're going to talk about military surplus kind of in general, and after my last video and all the different responses to it, I see it's a popular subject matter, so I'd like to address it. And not only so much firearms and military surplus, but also all the stuff like these neat caps, uniforms, and other things. And by the way, thank you, okay? I like it. I gotta figure out a way to attach this to an article of clothing. Go out bar hopping with this on a Friday night. That should stir up some shit there. Alright, but back to the topic. Well, after seeing everybody's reaction, and I do think about this, and I want to make videos, but it's so complicated and there's so many different factors involved with the hobby and everything else, and it is changing. I've realized it. I sat down and thought about it, and the situation is changing, and I doubt very much it'll go back. Okay, and what I mean is, days like this is actually police trade-in or surplus, but when these little Beretta 81s all come out, I mean, that was a hot thing. They're nice guns. They weren't priced too terrible, and I did videos on it. My friend let me borrow a variation. We did a side-by-side comparison. A lot of fun. But unfortunately now, if you try to get your hands on one of these or several other, you call them fairly common handguns, like Bulgarian Makarovs. I mean, they're $400, if not $500. But it used to be like $250 was like the max. You were paying a bit too much. You get them for around $200. And the biggest complaint is with people that, hey, this is out of control, this is crazy. And what you'll find is, even though you see on auctions and stuff, this stuff go out of sight, when you try to sell your guns, you're not going to find a whole bunch of people beating your door down to pay you that exorbitant price. So that's why I got to kind of give my advice or my thoughts on this whole situation and how to go about staying in this hobby. And see, because like it's the future, it's changing, so it's going to be different. Okay, number one. Number two, you have to educate yourself, and you have to have a game plan in this environment. Because like I said, the days like the Carcanos is probably the last big, nice surplus thing that you'll see. It's been going on almost 2 years, so that means there were a lot of them guns. Because most of these shipments come in, there might be 1,000, couple thousand, and it's gone like in 2-3 months. They're sold out, and you don't see them again. Okay. That was a large shipment. Okay, it was pretty neat. Well, I doubt very much that guns that are 100 years old are still being stored, 80, 100 years old, stored anywhere. So that happening again, it may not, but if it does, it'll be rare and very infrequent. Now we go to the next thing. A lot of questions I get asked is like these guns here. Where do you get these guns? Because if you're looking at this hobby where you just go online, like Royal Tiger, they got a whole list of these guns, okay, that are available, and all you do is order them, okay? That kind of situation is going to be A, hard to find, and B, expensive, okay? There were other venues, and what I will do is make a video covering these different venues, because I get asked all the time, well, where are you getting like this rifle here? Where'd you get it? I bought it at an auction, okay? And was I looking for it? Kind of no. I went through the auction listing, found this gun, and I was fortunate enough to put a bid and pay what I didn't think was too exorbitant at the time. It was about 4 or 5 years ago, and got this gun. But see, it's pretty complicated to try to do it all in one video. So I'm going to make a series and break it down into how to navigate auctions, where you can try to look for these guns, okay? I'll talk about the rising prices, and actually I don't think it's going to get much better. Discuss that area. And another thing, surplus in general, like even these hats and stuff, you know, you're not going to see it anymore. And that also is the politics and laws. A lot of countries, number one, militaries are scaled back, number one. You know, the Navy, the U.S. Navy back when I joined in 1982 was a hell of a lot different and smaller than what is out there on the oceans now. Same with the Marine Corps, the Army, everything else. So governments are not putting the money into their military to where they have all this used equipment, weapons, you know, vehicles. You're seeing a lot of that just not happening no more. And plus there are laws. I guess in Europe, anything, uniforms, munitions, they got it to where if a country, like in Germany I know is one, wants to dispose of small arms munition, they must break it down, scrap the metallic part of it, and then take the powder and break it down into its chemical substances and make fertilizer or something out of it. Use the nitrates in the gunpowder to produce a peaceful product, which is quite expensive to do. That's why it's kind of impractical, but it's done. And that's why you're not seeing a lot of surplus. And if you notice, a lot of like surplus ammo shows up from a certain country or region. And also that's because of the political, like I said, all these Italian pistols, okay? You're not seeing the Russian handguns show up, okay, because of political reasons. But the Italians are favorable, and in Yugoslavia, a lot of Serbian, Yugoslav ammo shows up. Because I guess it's just they let them do it, okay, where you can't get any ammo from China or several other countries where any ammunition of any type is not allowed. So there's political stuff involved with this too, and that's a constantly shifting, changing environment, okay? So that's what I'm going to do, is so stay tuned, and I'll break it down. What I guess I'm going to break it down into is a lot of things I see with people, because there's different levels. Like I said, the stuff that you find online, like the Carcanos, they give you a general grade. Some places tell you hand select, some don't, which I think hand select a lot of times is a con game. You know, you just get whatever's in the crate. Just pull it out and send you one. Okay, that's why if you can afford it, like I did, you buy 4 of them. Like DK, I bought 4 of them. And actually, it was a pretty good deal. If you go back on videos, they sent me every variant of the sling mounts. And, of course, one had a busted extractor, and the other one was just shot out so bad that, you know, no matter what ammunition you put in there, it didn't work. So that's surplus. Now people go, well, how do I know if I order one, I won't get a limit? Well, you don't. Okay, that's just the name of the game. And so that's when you're buying like that. When you say you want to go buy something, just one item you find in an auction, that, you know, an older gun. Condition. Okay, condition of the bore especially, which a lot of people I see buy these old guns, never look at the bore. Okay, condition of the gun overall, not on the outside with finishing that, but also the bore. Because I don't know about you, I don't really buy these things to look at them, I buy them to shoot them. And bore condition is important. You can have a beautifully refinished gun, but if there's no rifling in the barrel, and at 50 yards, you know, you're firing a rifle and you're getting a 2-foot group, the gun is not worth $300-400. All right, simple as that. What it's worth, especially if it's sporterized, in my opinion, it's 50, 60 bucks for the action. Because what you do is disassemble a gun, throw the rest of it away, take the action, put a sporterized barrel on there or something, mount a scope on it, and then get a stock, and then have some custom gun. Okay? Because you're not going to find a brand new barrel that'll go on, say, a Spanish 93 Mauser. Okay? So that's why I see a lot of people make this mistake and put too much money into something that really isn't worth it. So there's condition, and people have asked, do you take a cut down gun and find the stock and put it back together? I'll address that problem. And where to find these guns. And if you actively are collecting, depending on what you're collecting in the time period, how to go about finding these. Okay? Auctions are one route, but that has changed too in the past 5-10 years. Auction houses I was using, say, 10 years ago and coming out okay, the same places, that ain't the way it is no more. And there's a couple different factors, and I'll go over that when I discuss auctions. The gun broker itself, probably the biggest, most well-known online auction thing. I've listed things, I bought things. I recently bought something off the gun broker. I'll discuss that in its own right because that is such a large base, and because there's so many people know about it, that deserves its own little video. And that has changed to where it's not favorable, and a lot of people, I've gotten emails from people, they say, I don't even use it or go on it anymore. He goes, I'll just look and see what, the activity, but I don't buy anything anymore from the gun broker. And I'll explain why. So all of that stuff, we'll cover that. And over time here, because again, the weather sucks. I'm trapped in the house, so I may make a couple videos discussing this as I go on. And I got some other little short ones to make, because again, questions that people pop up, and it's easier for me just to make a quick video to answer. But that's where I'm going with the surplus thing. I'm going to do a series and discuss the different venues and problems and that. And so stay tuned, guys, and have a great day.